Today you understand what mastery of the seed means, and from this understanding, you begin to live it. This is the 7-minute daily focus, day 126 of 365, to focus on the world within from the world without. Today's focus, the law of seed, mastery of the seed. Pause for a moment. 14 days, the final day of this cycle. Mastery of the seed, not the beginning of mastery, the beginning of the understanding from which mastery grows, because mastery is not a destination reached in 14 days. Mastery is a quality of operation that deepens indefinitely. Today you understand what mastery of the seed means, and from this understanding, you begin to live it. Pause. Mastery of the seed means this. The law of seed is no longer something you think about. It is something you operate from. You no longer ask whether the seed is complete. You know it is complete. You no longer wonder whether development is happening. You know that sustained thinking is development. You no longer check conditions for evidence of the seed's reality. You perceive the seed through the first sense, and you know. This is mastery. The law has become the ground beneath your feet. Pause. Mastery is not the absence of challenge. It is not a state where conditions no longer speak or where the five senses fall silent. Mastery is the state in which challenges do not interrupt development, because the mind that has mastered the law of seed has trained itself to return to the seed as its natural first response, not its eventual response after considerable struggle, its first response. The immediate return within before the five senses set the agenda. Thought is within, effect is without, thinking stands between. Pause for a moment. How is mastery of the seed reached? Through exactly what you have been doing for 14 days. And will continue to do for the days and weeks ahead, through daily recognition, through sustained active thinking, through continuity, through steadfastness, through discipline. Mastery is not a different practice. Mastery is the current practice, deepened and refined over time, until it becomes second nature, until returning to the seed is as natural as returning to breath. Pause. Mastery of the seed also means mastery of thinking, because the seed develops through thinking, and mastery of thinking means knowing what thinking is doing at any moment, knowing which seed is being sustained, knowing whether thinking is upon what is within or upon what is without, and from that knowing, being able to redirect immediately, without prolonged struggle, without extended periods of thinking aligned with what is without. This is the mastery of thinking that the law of seed develops. Pause for a moment. Consider what mastery looks like across a day. The morning practice is clear. Recognition is established, active thinking upon the seed is directed and sustained, and then the day begins, and conditions speak. The master hears them and returns to the seed naturally, without dramatic effort. Conditions continue to speak. The master continues to return, not straining, not fighting, but naturally and steadily remaining upon what is within. This is mastery in practice, not perfection, precision and steadiness. Pause. Mastery of the seed is also the mastery of patience. Not the patience of waiting, but the patience that comes from knowing, the knowing that the seed is already complete, that development is already underway. That expression will follow when development is complete, and that the only thing required of you is to sustain thinking upon the seed. This knowing removes urgency. It removes the anxious watching for signs. It replaces it with the quiet certainty of someone who has placed a seed in ground they trust, and who tends the ground steadily without watching for the first shoot to appear. Pause. Mastery of the seed means something specific for each day forward. Every morning you return to this practice. You are deepening mastery, not because you are learning something new, but because each morning of practice trains the mind more deeply in the natural return to within, trains the first sense to perceive the seed more clearly, trains thinking to align with the seed more quickly. Each day of practice is a day of deepening, and mastery deepens indefinitely. There is no ceiling, and there is no point at which the practice becomes unnecessary. The practice is the mastery, and the mastery continues for as long as the practice continues. Pause. And carry this with you from the law of seed. Every desire you carry within is a seed, already complete, already holding its full expression. You do not need to create what is within. You do not need to earn the right to what the seed holds. The seed is already complete. Your work is to sustain thinking upon it, steadfastly, continuously, with discipline, with the recognition that comes through the first sense each morning, with active thinking concentrated upon the seed, with the consistent return to within through the day. This is the practice, this is the mastery, and what the seed already holds within will physically express. Exactly, because the law is exact, always. Pause. Mastery of the seed is also expressed in how you carry yourself. The person who has mastered the law of seed does not carry the anxiety of someone waiting for uncertain outcomes. They carry the quiet certainty of someone who knows what is within is already complete, who knows development is underway, who knows expression will follow. This is not arrogance. It is the natural quality of someone operating from within rather than from without, from cause rather than effect, from the seed rather than from the condition. And others perceive this quality, not because it is performed, but because it is real. It is the natural expression of a mind that knows what it holds within is already complete. Not doubtfulness, not struggle, not force. You are not pushing the seed, not pressure. You are not trying to make it happen, but steadfastness, focused. Remain aligned with what is within. Do not be moved by what is physically seen, because what is physically seen is always secondary to what is unfolding. Pause for a moment. And so these 14 days are complete, not the practice. The introduction to the practice. The foundation has been laid. You understand the seed. You understand its nature. You understand that thought and seed are the same. You understand the ground. You understand recognition and the first sense. You understand active and passive thinking. You understand continuity, steadfastness, and discipline. And you understand mastery. Now, these are not merely ideas. They are the operating principles of the mind that develops what it holds within. Pause. The law of seed will now accompany you, not as a concept to return to occasionally, but as a law that is operating in every moment, in every thought you hold, in every act of thinking you direct, in every morning you return to this practice. The seed is always being developed by what thinking is sustained upon, always, every day, in every moment. And from this day forward, you are the one directing that development with intention, with steadiness, with mastery that deepens every day. Now, the affirmation for day 126. Pause for a moment. I have understood the law of seed. The seed is always complete. Thought is the seed. Thinking is the ground. Recognition perceives what is already real. Active thinking develops the seed continuously. Continuity builds development over time. Steadfastness holds thinking on the seed regardless of conditions. Discipline makes the practice non-negotiable. And mastery is all of this, operating as the natural ground of how I move. I sustain thinking upon the seed within, every day, steadfast, focused, and because I remain, the seed develops, and because it develops, it unfolds. And what unfolds must physically express, remember, by design, by focus.